Genesis 47:28 through 49:28. Devotional focus verse. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. And he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt. Genesis 47:29. Spending time with elderly people, one often finds them looking back over the past and also looking ahead toward heaven. At various times, my aunt, who is now 94 years old, has shared some of her recollections. Many of these stories have been reminders of the faithful service to God which has been part of our family heritage for generations. She tells how her parents and siblings would take the streetcar across the Burnside Bridge after spending Sunday at our downtown church. Riding the streetcar made her sick, so before they arrived home, her dad would get off and walk carrying her. She tells about getting into Poison Oak year after year when they were spending the summer on the campground. She recounts Saturdays when, after musical rehearsals, she and her friends walked from the Sixth and Burnside church to the campground at 52nd and Duke, with at least one stop to buy ice cream. Woven through the stories is the underlying theme of God's faithfulness and a wholehearted desire to serve Him. My aunt longs for the day when she will step into eternity. She feels that her life's mission has been accomplished, and she is anticipating seeing the Lord. In today's text, Jacob realized that before long he would depart from this life. Mission accomplished could have been his heart's last cry. As he neared life's end, we see a man who had confidence in his relationship with God and was ready to meet Him. Was Jacob always a man of great spiritual stature? No, in looking at his earlier life, one can see failures and missteps along the way. However, the mercy and grace of God had established him. Jacob had learned from his mistakes and recognized his dependence upon God. His relationship to God had become essential to his life, and God changed his name to Israel, for as a prince he had prevailed with God. The grace of God sustained him throughout the remainder of his life. This last biblical glimpse of Jacob presents us with a challenge. What do we want our final testimony to be? It will be based upon how we are living in the present. Moment by moment, we are building for eternity. With God's help, we can make decisions that will give our lives a godly and righteous ending. Background information. This text covers Jacob's last years. After he had been in Egypt for 17 years, Jacob called for Joseph and asked him to promise to bury him in Canaan in the cave of Machpelah. Putting a hand under the thigh was a custom that indicated a vow. It was important to Jacob that his descendants remember they were only in Egypt temporarily and that someday they would return to Canaan. In Genesis 48:1 through 22, Jacob bestowed a double blessing upon Joseph by referring to Joseph's two sons as his own. Jacob pronounced blessings upon each boy, with the greater promises going to the younger son Ephraim. This was the passing on of the promises God had first given to Abraham, later to Isaac, and then to Jacob. With the covenant came the leadership responsibilities. The later history of the nation of Israel confirmed that the tribe of Ephraim held a leadership role, and, in time, the nation made up of the 10 northern tribes was called Ephraim. Manasseh also was destined to become great. Today, Jewish people still use the blessing from Genesis 48:20, God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. Genesis 49:1 through 28 contains Jacob's blessings and prophecies for his sons. Given in a poetic style, the messages contain metaphors and parallelism. Judah was destined to be the leader politically and militarily, and from his line, eventually King David and Jesus Christ were born. Joseph was promised greater blessings than all the others, and his descendants later included Joshua, Deborah, Gideon, and Samuel. Jacob had given his last will and testament. Conclusion. Jacob learned many things the hard way, but he did learn. We can have the same purpose to follow God that Jacob developed, and thereby have the same eternal hope.
And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, so the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die, and he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me, bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt. But I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said. And he said, Swear unto me. And he sware unto him. And Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. Genesis chapter 48. And it came to pass after these things, that one told Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick, and he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob, and said, Behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee, and Israel strengthened himself, and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me. And said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine, as Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. And as for me, when I came from Paddan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrat, and I buried her there in the way of Ephrat, the same as Bethlehem. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons, and said, Who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, They are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, Bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them, and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and, lo, God hath showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his right hand, and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Joseph, and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life long unto this day. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand, to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn, put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused, and said, I know it, my son, I know it, he also shall become a people, and he also shall be great, but truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, In thee shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh, and he set Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said unto Joseph, Behold, I die, but God shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Genesis Chapter 49. And Jacob called unto his sons, and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiledst thou it, he went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self will they dig down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies, thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp, from the prey, my son, thou art gone up, he stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people, as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose, he giveth goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breasts, and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills, they shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf, in the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their father spake unto them, and blessed them, every one according to his blessing he blessed them.